Well, Sabbath greetings to everyone. I wanted to just put a brief video up for this particular Sabbath. It's been a great week here in Sussex. I hope you've had a great week. Of course, this is Thanksgiving week. I hope your Thanksgiving went incredibly well. Again, I think it's mentioned a little bit about this last Sabbath, but I'm very grateful that we are at least reserving one day a year as a national day of Thanksgiving. And so I hope you have had the opportunity to reflect on all of the blessings that you have been given personally, and on not only that, but also the tremendous blessings we've been given as a nation because of the obedience of one man, Abraham. And so we are reaping the blessings in that way, and of course we know that those things are temporary, and we know that Bible prophecy shows very clearly that those things are going to be taken from us, and we are getting of course closer to that time, but right now we certainly hope to have a few more years to preach the gospel. We've got a message to get out there, and it's amazing. I went with my wife on a walk just a little bit ago, and we were just talking about that dynamic, that so much of this world just right now is not really interested in spiritual things for the most part. I mean, you catch a glimpse of it here and there, but the world is just absolutely wrapped in confusion. And there's so very few people today that are really seeking God. And so the work is going to become more challenging as this world more and more so turns into that secular direction and just really has a very blatant disrespect for the Creator God and for what He stands for. And so the work is going to get increasingly more difficult to do, but for now we're going to continue to seek the open doors that God provides for us. We're going to do what we have been commissioned to do as a church, and so it's exciting to be a part of that, and I hope we're thankful for that aspect, that we're a part of a work, that we're a part of something bigger than ourselves. This is not about having a social club. Of course, we had a wonderful time last Sunday. I wanted to mention that. It is about family. It is about spending time together as a family, trying to find time to get together and to grow together as an extended family in the church. And so that is what the church is, but it's not just a social club. It is certainly not just something for us to, have a place to go every Saturday and sort of spend time together and then, go back to our respective areas. We're a part of something. We're a part of something, and what a tremendous blessing that is to be a part of the work here at the end of an age. And so I know I haven't commented yet. It's a different environment here. I've got the in-laws are still here, and I'm just looking for a quiet place. Hopefully this has been relatively quiet to get this video done. But we have had a tremendous Thanksgiving here. It was a great day yesterday, and then of course we're getting prepared mentally and spiritually, and just trying to get ready for a Sabbath where we look forward to spending another Sabbath with the Milwaukee brethren, staying closer to home. The in-laws will be here for just a couple more days. So we do hope you've had a tremendous Thanksgiving. I hope it's been profitable for you and encouraging, and hopefully you've had a chance to spend some time thinking about all that we have to be thankful for. I want to continue on with the Proverbs as we've been doing this month of November. We're in Proverbs 25. This Sabbath will be November 25th. It's hard to believe. We're going to turn the corner into December here before too long. And of course we'll all be in it together, getting through this pagan time of the year. But for now, Proverbs 25, I'm not going to try to cover it all, but there's some of my favorite Proverbs and some of my favorite verses here in Proverbs 25. We'll just cover those. Verse 11 says, "A word fitly spoken is like apples of gold in settings of silver. Like an earring of gold and an ornament of fine gold is a wise rebuker to an obedient ear." So words fitly spoken. So again, one of the challenging things about this life sometimes is our personal interactions with other people, trying to find those fitly spoken words. A word fitly spoken. A wise rebuker to an obedient ear. We can have a lot of wisdom that can come from other people as we're having human interaction and communicating with other people. But unless we have an obedient ear and unless we're ready to listen, we could be listening to the wisest rebuker, and those words will not have the intent that they were meant to. So we have to have an obedient ear, be ready to listen to those who are providing wise rebuke. So those are some wonderful words to think about and meditate on as we consider our conversations and communication with other people. Let's see here. This one is apropos here for the day after Thanksgiving, verse 16. Have you found honey? Eat only as much as you need, lest you be filled with it and vomit. So again, this is a sort of a comment about being careful to use moderation. Even when it comes to honey, or even in this case it could be referring to sugar or things like that, is to just be careful not to eat too much. It's not that it's wrong, it's just that we have to be careful to eat in moderation, or we'll have the results of that, which is we vomit, we get sick. So I know sometimes Thanksgiving is difficult in that sense to use that moderation because we usually have so much good food. We certainly did have some wonderful food here. We all were involved in helping to put all that together, and so it was a very special time. And then you sit down and you have the opportunity to eat a wonderful meal. But again, it's a message about balance, and it's a message about making sure that we use moderation in that sense. Let's see. If your enemy, verse 21, Proverbs 25, verse 21, if your enemy is hungry, give him bread to eat, and if he's thirsty, give him water to drink. For so you will heap coals of fire on his head, and the Lord will rebuke and will reward you. The Lord will reward you. So if your enemy is hungry, so this one is one of those next level verses. Clearly someone who is an enemy, someone who just that we just cannot see eye to eye with, someone who's an enemy. It says here, if he's hungry, feed him, give him something to drink. And so that's the best way to deal with situations that are difficult when you're dealing with an enemy in that sense, is to take care of them, to make sure we go out of our way to provide in that sense, because in doing so you'll heap coals of fire on his head and the Lord will reward you. So that's what we need to do, and that's again one of those next level concepts of being able to love our enemies, to feed and to take care of those that we might think of as enemies in that sense, that they don't like us, or we don't get along with them in that sense. So that again, that's something we could really learn from, and again a next level application of the Word of God. In verse 28, whoever has no rule over his own spirit is like a city broken down without walls. Self-control. So the Proverbs, again, they're so full of tremendous wisdom. If we can look at some of these things and go through these things on a monthly basis and keep these things in mind, and we'll add to our wisdom, which is what Proverbs is. It's a book of wisdom. How to rule our own spirit in this sense. Whoever has no rule over his own spirit is like a city broken down without walls. A city that has no walls is vulnerable to its enemies, vulnerable to attack. And that's exactly what happens if we don't learn how to rule over our own spirit, to be careful, to have self-control and not have outbursts of wrath and to get angry easily. Because when we do that, we're like a city without walls. We become vulnerable to attack from Satan, the devil, when we have that tendency to lose our control, to have no self-control, to not rule over our own spirit, to keep ourselves reined in that sense, and to be calm in spirit and demeanor. So all these things, again, the Proverbs are wonderful. We could go on and on and on, but that's Proverbs 25, just a few of my favorite verses there in Proverbs 25. I hope you have a tremendous Sabbath. I hope it's been a rewarding week for you and a wonderful Thanksgiving. I love you all. I look forward to seeing you all in the weeks ahead. Take care. Have a wonderful Sabbath, and we'll talk again real soon.